Hey guys, it's me again. So this is our second episode, and I apologize. I should have recorded last week and all of that, but honestly, I was kind of waiting for my stand that I use now for my phone, and honestly, I was way too busy with the Día de Muertos preparations. So that's what we are going to talk about this episode. So yeah, we're talking about the origin of the Dia de Muertos and the meaning of the things that are in the altar. So I think it's pretty according to the date. Today is November 3rd, so it has passed already, but it's always a good time to talk about this, you know? So first of all, our Dia de Muertos has its roots on Mesoamerican celebrations dedicated to the dead. Okay, so civilizations such as Mexicas, Mayas, Zapotecas, Mixtecas, Purépechas, Totonacas, and Tlaxcaltecas worship the dead by using rituals and offerings. In the pre-Hispanic Mexico, the death wasn't the absolute end of life, you know, it was like a transition between the realms of life. Okay, the Mexicas believed in different destinations in the afterlife, such as Tlalocan, Mictlan, Omeyocan, and other more. Okay, so it was like a different destination for each of the cases of death. So I think that there's one for the babies, one for accidents, one for homicides and things like that. You know, it's like a different place for a different kind of death. So celebrations like Quecholi, which goes from October 20 to November 8, honor the god Mixcoatl by setting up altars with tamales near the cemeteries of the fallen warriors, kind of similar to the modern day offerings. The Mayan vision contemplated a complex underworld, which was called Xibalbá, which the souls had to travel to, accompanied by a Xoloscuintle dog as a guide. So this dog, the Xoloscuintle, is very used by these cultures. You know, I remember reading a book in where there was this family of Xoloscuintles, and the grandfather died. So you know, his grandson went to accompany him to the Mictlan, which is if I remember correctly, is a travel which lasts around 7 years, and there's a river that you have to cross accompanied by the dog. So if you haven't been good to dogs or mistreated any animal in your life, the dog will deny you help, so you can't cross the river at all. So you are kind of stuck in a limbo. And I mean, I read this when I was like 9, 10 years old, so it has been a long time, you know. And well, most of these traditions are still preserved, many are forgotten, but luckily we have our researchers, we have books regarding all of this info. My train, whatever. So those were like the ancient traditions before the conquest, before the Spanish people, you know. Okay, so what happened with those traditions when the Spaniards arrived? So when the Spaniard conquest occurred, they enforced their own Catholic celebrations, such as All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. When the when the evangelization happened, a mix of both cultures also occurred, since the colonizers observed that the indigenous customs and the end of the corn harvesting cycle kind of aligned. They agreed to incorporate the Mesoamerican celebrations into the new Christian calendar. So this way, both pre-Hispanic and Catholic celebrations, kind of balance each other out, so they were both on the new calendar. The church tried to eradicate the native practices, but many historians agree that these villages came to an agreement with the conquerors, so they could preserve its celebrations. So this way, doing things like offering food and watching over the dead, which only happened on the home, were integrated into the new culture. So these native traditions were combined with the new Catholic ones, all the religion-based ceremonies. And during the Viceroyalty, people were forced to bury their dead people in cemeteries, which divided the commemoration in two parts: the offerings at home and the visits at the tombs and or graves. So now we get to the part that I find more interesting, which are the altars and offerings, because we have many components that I'd like to speak about. So first of all, we have our altar. This is the whole base of our celebration Día de Muertos, the altars. So in them are placed pictures of our relatives, of our pets even, with their favorite foods that they like, drinks, so traditionally we here put mole with chicken, a cup of hot chocolate or coffee, or a cold beer, a cigarette, something that we know that they liked, and we also put candles, incense, and in some cases we put personal belongings to them. So why do we do this? So the purpose of this is to invite their souls, to come back to the home and nurture or revitalize themselves with the food prepared in their honor. So this is food that we especially prepared for them, and the offerings help to guide the souls on their way, and to keep alive, to keep strong the link between the living and the dead. So in the altars we always have this kind of paper. It's something like this, and it's always there. And we have salt crosses. I don't know if you have seen that in the altar we place a little plate, and in it's a salt cross. I've always watched this since I was little, and I really never wondered why. And while investigating for this episode, it said that this had a really strong meaning, both religious and cosmic. So most altars have many levels or steps. Let's call it steps, for simplicity. So we have a 2 steps altar, which it represents the division from heaven and earth, as well as their elements, fruit and rain. That's what it says here. And I don't know, our altars at home are kind of small, because we use like 2 tables and then we work our way down. So it's not impressive, it's nothing like you said, wow, that's a really pretty altar. It's like, no, but I mean, it serves its purpose, to remember our dead people. And so the three-step altar, which looks like this, it represents the earth, heaven, and the underworld, or aka earth, the purgatory, and the kingdom of heaven. So, and for the Catholic people, it could mean the Holy Trinity. And now we get to the interesting part. So we have the 7-level altar. I don't know if you have seen this in Oaxaca mostly. Downtown they place these big altars, and it's like way impressive. It's way more impressive than anything that you could have seen in, I don't know, someone's home. It's really big, really impressive. And if you go, well, I don't know if they're still up, but if you go down there during October 31, November 1st and 2nd, you'd find them, And I was told since I was little that this was like the correct form of placing an altar, and I investigated all of its levels. So the first step is the holy step. It's the higher level, and in this level you place the image of the saint that you believe in. So the step 2 is dedicated to the purgatory souls, and in this step the soul of the deceased gets permission to come out. Step 3 is purification. In this step you put the salt, which symbolizes the purification of the spirit, and this is more for the children of the purgatory. And the level 4, the step 4 is the soul. So for this fourth step you place pan de muerto, which means Eucharisty. I think it's in English. I'll get back to you on that later, but I think it is. So on the level 5 we got food. So here's where you place all of the dishes you prepared and the favorite fruits that the deceased person liked most. On the level 6 you place their portrait, and finally on the level 7 you place the cross. It says that you place a cross formed by seeds, fruits, flowers, or candles. And well, getting back onto more elements, we got the pan de muerto. So this is a round shape sweet bread, usually decorated with long shapes like this, like in the form of a cross, which symbolizes bones. And this one is sprinkled with sugar and has a hint of anise or orange. It's either this one or I don't know. There's another kinds of pan de muerto. I've seen cinnamon bread. It's really good. And there's other in Tlacolula, for example. It's not that close to the city, but they make like the best pan de muerto that I know of. So the one where my family buy their bread, called Panaderia Tere, I believe, and they make this like it's like butter bread, I think, and this other one that it's yolk bread. So this one is the egg yolks. Yeah, you just add like a lot more to the bread dough, and both are really good. So you are not limited to getting the first one that I talked about, which is the one that's all of them are around now that I think about it, but you're not limited to getting the one with the bones. So just like a personal note, I think. But getting back to the point, this bread symbolizes the life cycle, life and death. Next up, we have the cempasúchil flower, which is this flower. I think that you have seen it already everywhere, and it has a strong and unique color and aroma. So it's like a strong orange color, but I mean it's a pretty rare color. I don't think you have seen it like anywhere else. And it means to guide the souls back to the altars. So its original name, which is in Nahuatl, and it's Cempasúchil. I'll be writing up here. Means 20 petal flower. And these flowers plays like a really important role in the altar. So you make crowns and pads made of this flower. You put crowns in the arch of the altar, and you make like a little path from the altar to somewhere else, and we have the belief that this flower, due to its unique color and aroma, can attract and guide the souls from their graves back to our homes. So now we're talking about the calaveritas. So there's actually two kinds of calaveritas. I don't know if you have seen it, but we place some calaveritas on the altar, and these are like edible, skull-shaped candies, which are made of, I've seen it made from sugar, amaranth, and I believe chocolate. And so these are painted in vivid colors. I've seen it like orange, purple, some light blue, and are placed on the altar with the name of each person that we're waiting for. And the other kind of calaveritas are literally calaveritas. Literary, I think it's pronounced literally. No, literary calaveritas. And these are satiric verses that are written for living people, usually relatives or celebrities, and are written with a humorous purpose. Okay, so this is kind of like a poem, but it's between the lines of a poem and a roast. So in the end, the death comes to take the person, or the person avoids it, or something like that. But it's usually something along those lines. And another thing about Día de Muertos are muerteadas. So what is a muerteada? So here in Oaxaca, in the Central Valleys, mostly on the side of Etla, like Villa de Etla, Soledad de Etla, Nazareno Etla, and San Agustín Etla, people have this tradition. It's like a procession, parade-like procession, and a community performance, which is something like a theatrical representation. Okay, so this celebration combines theater, band music, dance, costume, and humor to come to life. So this is all based on the on a dead person, you know. So it's like drama and humor, and it's all around the return of a dead person to the world of the living, where priests, doctors, and spiritualists trying to guide them back or guide them to the afterlife. Yeah, so it's a satiric event, so people are laughing all the time, and it still shows respect for death, even with all of the bickering and all of that. So, as I said, this is a theatrical representation, and it has costumes. So we have the dead, which it's the person which all is based around. So it's the person that dies, and all of the performance is it's around them. We have the death, which la muerte or la flaca, as some say, which is like, you know, this like death, like, you know, it's there's this skeleton figure with the black robe, and the role in here it's to claim the dead person. We have the devil, which, you know, it's always pranks, chaos, temptation, all of the bad stuff. We have El Catrín, which is this elegant skeleton. He's dressed in this one mocks like social standards and celebrates the death with style, you know. It got like I said. And finally, the priest, spiritualist, or doctor. So this is the character who tries to save the deceased, or mediate between life and death. So, funny story. I went to a comparsa. Well, we'll get to that later. And you know, my mom said, "You are getting like this traditional costume." So I was like, "All right," and we decided that I would go as a doctor. I don't remember exactly my attire, but I think like I wore a white robe or something like that. A stethoscope. I don't know why my mom has a stethoscope like laying around in the house, and we didn't have like this doctor suitcase. I don't know. So we took one of my dad's. Well, my dad has a lot of tools, so we took one of those tool cases. So it wasn't like even white or something. It was black. It was rough. It had these little like locks in the top. And the most funny part is like it had I think the walls written on the sides of it. So I think that nobody got my costume that year. Nobody like guessed it correctly, and it's funny, you know, because we're supposed to like spin around tradition and all of that, but sometimes we just don't care as much as we should. So the Morteada has kind of like a script how things are supposed to go. So it starts, well, from what I gathered, it says that it starts around 9 p.m. and lasts until dawn. Well, during the night, the participants dance, sing, recite humorous verses, visit local houses, sometimes being offered mezcal or food. Okay, so the story of that person is acted out very, very comically. So, first, the death comes to claim them, the priest, doctor, or spirit medium tries to revive them, the devil interferes, the dead eventually returns to rest. So, we have humor, drama, respect, and storytelling all in one performance. It's kind of funny to watch, but it's always charged with some local humor. So probably if you're not from around there, you won't understand some of the things they are saying, because sometimes they are talking about someone in the community, so you just don't get it. And we also have the comparsa. We have las comparsas, and a comparsa is like going out for Halloween. So from what I can recall, like a procession of kids in costumes go house to house, like asking for candy. Well, it's like these late years. I think the last comparsa I went to was like 2 years ago, and I remember that we went around the neighborhood. There are designated houses, for them to give out candy to the kids, but sometimes we would just stop in the middle of the street, and someone on the roof will throw candy, or someone open the door and throw out candy, and it's really funny. I enjoy going to them, even though I don't like all the noise and the people. But it's funny, you get to collect candy, you get to walk. If you go with friends, you can pass the time way better. And yeah, so I think that's one of that would be all for this episode. I still have to edit, add out some images, and well, as I said at the start of the episode, I apologize for not recording last week. I've noticed in my YouTube channel, last time I checked, which was Saturday, I think, I had 83 views, which I don't know. It just makes me really happy, because I'm not doing this for the audience. I'm doing this because I want to, and I'm really grateful for that. And in Spotify, I think we got one view or something, but according to the stats, the person that got me that view listens to the whole episode. So I don't know who you are, but thank you very much. Also, I think I'm gonna record another episode now, because I've got time. My next class is in 1 hour, so I think I have plenty of time to elaborate one more episode, to finish my investigation and all of that, because I want to talk about local legends. And I think that would be all for now. So peace out, and thank you so much for watching.